If you have any interest in growing your wealth or your portfolio, you want to invest. But the surest way to invest is through proper financial planning.
When you don't plan, it almost feels like you don't have any direction. So it's like if the wind pushes you this way, you just go. If the wind pushes you the other way, you just go, because you don't have a vision for yourself. You don't have a clear direction that you want to go to. If you don't have a direction, it means that you're not going to get anything out of life per se. You will not get any fulfillment, because you will not get to do exactly what you really want to do.
Is there a way to tailor personal planning that is different from, say, business or entrepreneurial planning?
I train myself to know that my business money is not my money. That's the first thing. Because my business is making money does not mean that it's my personal money. It's the business money. I pay myself from my business. So I have a salary from the business. So it does not mean that everything that the business generates automatically becomes my personal money. So I have what I get from the business, and the rest of the money still remains the business money. Should we be planning our lives differently from how we plan our businesses? You as the business owner, your business is you are the business. Your business is part of your life.
When did the plan change from I want to fix this problem to I want to make money off this problem that I had?
You have goals and objectives for your business. You have targets that you want to hit at the end of the year. So how do you know that you're hitting those targets if you do not even plan for the business in the first place?
Show me the money. So welcome to Show Me the Money, the podcast where local ambition meets real-world strategies. Every week, we unpack the stories, the mistakes, the breakthroughs, the bold decisions behind entrepreneurs shaping tomorrow's economy. Here, we cut through the noise, decode the hustle, and turn lived experiences into lessons you can actually use. So whether you're building from scratch or scaling to greatness, this is your space. Let's get into it. Show me the money. Hello and welcome to Show Me Your Money. I am your host, Richard Atemojong. Today we're talking about something that I think is important to just about any Cameroonian, and just not Cameroonians. If you have any interest in growing your wealth or your portfolio, you want to invest. But the surest way to invest is through proper financial planning. So my guest for today is an expert in planning. She's the creator of the Goal Digger. Her name is Karen Sunjo, and I promise you, if you give Karen 30-40 minutes of your time, you will not regret it. I have a copy of the Goal Digger planner. I have flipped through its pages, so if my word means anything, take it. But without much ado, please join me and these beautiful people seated here today to welcome Karen to Show Me the Money. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Richard.
Okay, so this is the much talked about Karen Sunjo, at least in my circles. And I'm going to tell you the first time you caught my attention. We attended a fair, and then you tried to sell me the Goal Digger. I didn't buy it, and then you took my number. I think I saved your number, and a couple of weeks after, I saw you doing a talk for Total Energies.
Yes.
Then I was like, oh, that girl is big. So I was like, okay, now I saved the number well. So it was first Karen Goal Digger person, then now I went to Karen then I put your name now, Karen Sunjo. So with all its honor and respect. So kudos. We're glad to have you on the show. My very first question to you is, why should anyone take so much time to plan? Because it feels like planning is such a chore. And I just don't know if I have 2 days, 1 day, 2 hours in my day to invest into planning.
All right. So there's something that is often said by a very renowned writer. He says, 10 minutes of planning saves you 10 hours of execution. And I believe that that's very, very important, because when you don't plan, it almost feels like you don't have any direction. So it's like if the wind pushes you this way, you just go. If the wind pushes you the other way, you just go, because you don't have a vision for yourself. You don't have a clear direction that you want to go to. And that's why it's very important to plan, because if you don't have a direction, it means that you're not going to get anything out of life per se. You will not get any fulfillment, because you will not get to do exactly what you really want to do. That's why I always say it's very important, first of all, to even define a vision for your life. What do you really want your life to look like in the next 10, 20 years? And then from your vision, you bring it back to today. What am I supposed to be doing such that I'm taking one step closer to that vision that I really want to achieve? So I'll just say that it's important because it gives you direction. If not, you're all over the place and not doing anything concretely.
So, what do we say to the people who say our future is not in our hands? Anything could happen. You could have an elaborate plan, and then somewhere on your way to execution, an accident happens, a natural catastrophe happens, something that completely disrupts the order of things. How do you plan for things that are unseen and unknown?
So I'll say there's this Bible verse that I like so much. It's Isaiah 60:22. And it says that when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And I believe so much that you don't have complete control over your life. You cannot control everything that you really want to do. But it's important, first of all, to even lay something down, put a foundation, have direction. Obviously, everything is not going to go according to your plan. That's why even when planning, I always say that, yes, plan. Say that you want to do this at this time, but always keep at the back of your mind that at the end of the day, you don't have control over everything. They say control what you can and leave the rest to God. So obviously, let me just take an example. Maybe I have a goal for my YouTube channel. I want to hit maybe 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That is the target I want to hit, but I don't have control over that end result. So the point is, plan your actions, not fixing your mind only on the end goal. So plan what you're going to do. At the end of the day, you may hit that target. At the end of the day, you may not hit that target. But have you been putting in the work? Have you been doing what exactly you said you were going to do to be able to even go closer to that target? So it's always important to plan your actions, even though you don't have control over the end result. But the only thing that's going to take you closer to that end result is if you even plan in the first place, if you even take action and do what you're supposed to do. Because if you sit down and you say, I'm not going to do anything because I don't have control over the end result, it means that you're never going to move an inch towards the thing that you really want to do. But take action, plan, and do what you have to do, and leave the rest to God, because He's a master planner. You can only do as much as, okay, this is what I want to do, but at the end of the day, the control is not yours. Because some people often associate planning to, okay, because I've planned it, it must be like this from A to Z. But I always say that even when you plan, always remember that you don't have control over the end result. But the most important thing that you should do is take action, do what you actually said you were supposed to do, or you're going to do.
Let's bring it home a little, and I want you to give us concrete examples with the doing of Gold Digger.
Okay.
I assume that in developing the Gold Digger planner, everything didn't go as planned. But walk us through your planning. So what were you thinking when you said, I want to do a planner? And how did you overcome your first major challenge that disrupted the planning?
So coming up with a planner, maybe there's a little misconception that people may have. Because I've come up with a planner, first of all, does not mean that I am like the master of planning. I'm the best in planning. The planner was a solution to my own problem.
Okay.
Because I had a planning problem. I had a problem of maybe not always working towards the goals that I really had. And after maybe series of research and trying to, what can I do to actually solve this problem, I came across people talking about planners. Obviously not here.
Yeah.
So I asked myself that, okay, these people, this is what they use, but we don't have something like that here. Or at least I had not seen any planner when I thought about the idea.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, this is something that is going to help me. And obviously, I don't have this problem alone. So if it's going to help me, I know that there are people out there equally that have maybe this problem of not always following through with their plans or not even having plans at all. And so it's going to be able to help them. And that was how I even came up with the idea of making it a business. Now, talking about the challenges. Honestly, I did not expect it. I did not expect the challenges that I had, because at that time I was still like, oh, I know I'm planning. I know that I'm supposed to do this at this time. It's supposed to reach Cameroon at this time. Since you, like you already mentioned, I print the planners in China. But now at the time, because I planned that the planners are supposed to reach in December, in time for the new year. That was in 2023. They're supposed to reach in December in time for the new year, because new year is a time where people take like a lot of resolutions. I'm going to do this and that. So it was just the perfect time. But now there's a lot of things that go into importing from China, and one of the major problems is delays with shipments. And that was actually what happened to me, because the planners delayed to arrive, and December came and passed and it did not arrive. January, February, I almost felt like, okay, it's just a little delay, it's going to come. But and I started noticing that months and months and months were going by, and I was so angry, because I had already planned that this is how this thing is going to go. So I'm like, why is this plan failing when I took every necessary precaution to make sure that these things are going to come and arrive at this particular time? And then that was actually when that verse of the Bible made more sense to me, because a friend, there was a friend that she knew about the situation, and she told me about it, like, don't worry, everything, like,
Right.
you cannot control everything. I know that you are the planner, but you cannot control everything. And that was when I really took that Bible verse seriously, like, when the time is right, the Lord will make it happen. Because I had my own time in my head, but that was not the time that he wanted it to happen. And so at that time when I took that, I let go of control, because I was still holding on to control, because I had customers that pre-ordered, and they were like, I was feeling so bad, because I would not like to tell you that I'll deliver this thing at this time, and then I don't, and then I'll be feeling bad. Like, so it got to a point where I even stopped posting on my WhatsApp status, because it felt like people will be seeing me posting, and then you're like, but you have not delivered our things, and you're here posting and living your best life. But now I just had to say, okay, I'll explain to everybody and refund people, and then when it's going to come, then I'm going to inform you that, okay, it has come now. If you still need it, you can get it. So that was like the major challenge I encountered with getting the planner. But after that, it changed so many things for me. My perspective of looking at things, letting go of control, even though I like to plan, but just telling myself that no matter what, at the end of the day, I don't have the final say as to how things are going to go.
So your planner was first of all a solution to your problem.
Yeah.
But I figure right now it's like a business.
Yes.
When did the plan change from I want to fix this problem to I want to make money off this problem that I had?
There's this should I say renowned speaker that I watch. His name is Myron Golden. I don't know, does anybody know Myron Golden here? Okay. Yes, I watch Myron Golden a lot. He speaks a lot about business, and even business related to the Bible, like how God does business in the way that he did things in that time. So I followed his videos a lot, and there was one of his videos that he was talking about how to make millions. And in fact, there was a lot that he said in that video, but honestly, it was from something that he said that I told myself that, okay, this is something that I can actually change into not only helping myself, but helping other people. So changing it from a solution to me to a solution for every other person that possibly has the problem.
Wow. And how has the money making plan been going so far? I ask this as a segue to what you do with the money that you're making, and not that we want details of your financial life, but just to know if you plan your finances as well, because sometimes that's hard. And let me use personal examples. So I'm earning 50K, and so I'm planning how to live my life. Generally, I sit one day, they give me job offer. Now I'm earning 500K. I want to buy a Rolls Royce. Aduha.
All right. So I'll say that first of all, like I mentioned earlier, it's important for you to have a vision
Yeah.
because your vision guides every other step or every other action that you're going to take. Because like if somebody can just say, now I'm making more money, let me go and buy this car, and then the car is like 20 million. That's a lot of money. That maybe what you have is equivalent to the amount of money that you're going to spend to buy the car. And that's how I say, when you have a vision, like I have a vision for how I want to do things or what I really want to do. So obviously I train myself to know that my business money is not my money. That's the first thing. Because my business is making money does not mean that it's my personal money. It's the business money.
Wait.
I pay myself from my business. So I have a salary from the business. So it does not mean that everything that the business generates automatically becomes my personal money. So I have what I get from the business, and the rest of the money still remains the business money. So obviously now I have plans as to how big I want the business to grow in the long run. So the money is still an investment for the business. So it's like reinvesting in the business to make it to grow more and more and more and more. Because sometimes somebody can say, okay, now I have a lot of money, and they just want to splurge and just do everything. But if you have a vision and you had thought you really sit down and think about how you really want your life to be, it's also going to help you to make well thought out decisions because of what you already, this is where you're envisioning yourself. So if you're supposed to do any investments, it's based on what you have already envisioned for how you want your life to be in the next couple of years, and not just random decisions because the money is there now, let me just use it. I don't know if it actually clearly answers what you asked.
In a way, but it led me to another question.
Okay.
Because the part of now separating your business money and your personal money. But yeah, it's my business. And I see the sense and the logic in that. But then that also kind of implies that I need to plan my personal life different from how I plan my business. So in your talk with institutions or people who work in these institutions, is there a way to tailor personal planning that is different from, say, business or entrepreneurial planning? So if this conversation shifted something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Click the subscribe button right now and join a community that refuses to dream small. Follow Summit across all social media platforms on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or even the WhatsApp community. Here, builders, thinkers, creators, and everyday hustlers come together to learn, to grow, and rewrite what is possible for African entrepreneurship. Visit us today on www.summit.org and subscribe at only 1,000 francs CFA a year. Join this community of bold businesses. Let us rise together.
Well, I would not say that your business, you as the business owner, your business is you are the business.
Yeah.
But I'm talking particularly in terms of the money that your business generates.
Okay.
Because if you make a mistake of claiming all of the money as your personal money, you're going to use your business capital and do your personal stuff.
Yeah.
And then now the business is going to suffer, the business is going to struggle. That was the sense that I was talking about.
I totally get it. So I'm trying to find out, should we be planning our lives differently from how we plan our businesses?
Your business is part of your life.
So In my personal plan, I can put segments of my business plan in it.
Yes.
But then it brings in several other areas that are out of my control. And I'm thinking about my circle of influence, what I am able to influence. And sometimes planning is so overwhelming because we put a very broad circle of influence. Isn't involving business planning just increasing how much stress or how much of a burden we're putting on ourselves?
Everything has to be planned for. If you don't plan for your business, how do you know that the business is hitting the targets that you want the business to hit? You have goals and objectives for your business. You have targets that you want to hit at the end of the year. So how do you know that you're hitting those targets if you do not even plan for the business in the first place?
Yeah.
And you spoke about things being overwhelming, and that's something that is very, very true when it comes to planning.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is that the big problem with having overwhelming goals is the fact that you just set this very big goal and then you leave it there. Like, planning does not end at I want to build a house by the end of 2026. Because as the months are going by and you notice that you're not doing anything about building the house in 2026, you start feeling overwhelmed because you feel like I'm not really doing anything about this thing and time keeps going by. And that's why a very important aspect about planning is goal breakdown.
Okay.
So breaking down your goals into little objectives such that when you're going about your day, you're not thinking about that big goal of building a house, but you're thinking about the small objective that you have to carry out instantly that is going to take you towards that goal. So it breaks, or it kind of removes the aspect of overwhelm. Because let me just take an example. I took an example about YouTube. You want to hit a certain target at the end of the year, but now instead of waking up every day and being like, I still have 1,000 subscribers today and January is already finished, am I going to be able to hit that target by December? You should instead leave the aspect of that big goal, because that's what's overwhelming, and you break it down. Breaking it down can look like, okay, what are the steps that I have to take to hit that goal? That's where you start from. So you break down the goal into the different steps that you're supposed to take, and then now each day you're focusing on one step instead of thinking about the entire goal. So focusing on one step can be, every week I'm supposed to film at least 8 videos for YouTube, which means that every day I should film at least 2 videos. Or you can maybe say, okay, Saturday and Sunday are my filming days. So every week on Saturday and Sunday, I film 4 videos each. So I'm not thinking about 20,000 subscribers again, but I'm thinking about, have I filmed the 4 videos for Saturday? Have I filmed the 4 videos for Sunday? Because those are the determinants, those are the actions that you're supposed to take that are going to eventually help you to hit that target. Same with business goals. You have a target of hitting, I don't know, a certain amount of sales. You have a sales target that you want to reach at the end of the month, at the end of the year. And you break that target now to the month. So you're not thinking about the 50 million that your business has to generate. But you're thinking about, what is the amount? I'm bringing out that 50 million to January. What is the target for January? I'm bringing down to week by week. There are 4 weeks in January. What is the target for the week? And so I'm looking only at the target of the week. That is where my focus is. Not focusing on the 50 million at the end of the year, because it's going to always overwhelm you when you're looking at the big goal, instead of looking at the small action that you're supposed to take immediately that is going to lead you towards that goal or that objective.
So I really like that you say that, and I hope so. This is our 5th podcast recording.
Okay.
We haven't aired any yet. As a matter of fact, if we go to the editions that we cancelled, we recorded, I think, 2 editions and then cancelled that series completely. And since we've come here, this is our 5th recording. I haven't aired any yet because something is happening. So I'm not looking at the big goal per se. I am worried about, is this perfect enough? And a lot of people who plan get stuck in the place of perfection, and they're like, okay, I want to do this so well. I promise you, we have We have two guests here today that we've recorded them on our podcast. It's not aired. And every day I look at it, I'm like, the editing is not it. It's not giving. No, I want a guest who starts like this is the way I want us to be perceived. My dream is to be the most listened to podcast in Africa. So this is not gonna cut it. I keep doing that, and so deadline for reaching most listened to podcast in Africa was 2026. Where in 2026 the podcast has not even aired. So while sometimes even the mighty goal is scary, sometimes the breakdown is so perfectionist oriented that we also don't start. How do you help us? What do you do to show me the money so that we can publish next week?
If you go to the podcast that you personally listen to, and you just change it, let's say you change it to the oldest video, so it's going to swap the order of their podcast, and then they're going to show you the oldest video, and you watch the oldest video, and you watch the most recent podcast, you're going to start. There's a huge difference. Starting is never going to be perfect. And it's true that a lot of us have that perfectionism mindset, like I want this to be perfect before I release it. But obviously there's always going to be a better version of what you're doing now, because everybody that starts something does not start perfect. There will always be mistakes. Even when you feel like you've checked everything, when you eventually publish it, you're still going to see a mistake there. Still going to see a mistake there. And that's why I always say that everything is, so it's, you train, planning and executing and all of that it's not like this, does not come maybe just like that. You don't just get into it and then you just flow. It's a process that you go through of learning and failing and falling and getting back up again. And it's just about training your mindset as well. The moment that you want to think about, but this thing is not perfect though, this thing is not the way we publish. Post it.
Ella,
upload
post,
it.
publish.
If the only thing that is remaining now is just to put upload, just go and click upload now and upload it already on your channel. Because honestly, you can never be perfect when you just start. In fact, you can never even be perfect. No matter how many years you have gotten into the game, you can never really be perfect. So speaking to people that overanalyze, I just want to say that you can never really be perfect. Whatever it is that you're doing can never be perfect when you just start. If you just start it, there are always going to be things that you can change. So just tell yourself that you're going to learn on the job. Because if not, you will never really start. You're going to learn on the job, and the thing is that sometimes we are looking at it only us, and there are things that we're never even going to notice still. But when you post it, you have people that will be giving you real life feedback. Okay, this aspect of it, I think that maybe you can do it like this. Of course, you take what is really important and you leave what is not really going to be helpful. But there's always going to be that possibility of upgrading or maybe doing better at what you do. So the first one, if I go back to my oldest video now, I'm sure it's so poor, but I'm only here now because of the fact that I started with that very poor quality video. And I mean
your first gold digger was, how was it?
It was still good, but now I noticed problems that I had to correct with the new edition. And I only noticed those problems because people were using it. If I had to stay on the fact that, oh no, I want to do it like this, people will never use it, and I was never going to get that feedback. But because they used the first one and I got feedback, I was able now to make changes and make this one better. And I'll probably still get feedback again from this one and will still require that I make changes. But if I never came up with the first one, I will never have gotten the feedback that is going to make the second one to be better than what the first one was.
So someone listening to us right now, and the whole day we've been here, we've been telling people, learn to invest. Someone looks at us or listening or watching, goes, yeah, I want to invest. I don't have enough money, Investment is money. Money is hard. Can you think about ways of breaking down the investment decision such that it is a little easy? And then let me just ask both questions in one sec. The person who thinks like me. So I think about investment, and in my head, I want to be Warren Buffett. Like, so I went about this mighty ass book. I haven't read one page of it yet. Written, only prefaced by Warren Buffett. And because in my mind, when I hear investment, like 2026, your investment year, if it was in church, I'll just change like 2026 year of millionaire investments, and that millionaire is in dollars. Like, so when I hear it, I'm just like, okay, so this idea that Summith gives like this now, if I put 5 million inside Team Sparker Freak, the next edition like this will make 50 million. I'll come out with like 25 million. Then that new Maybach like that, I bought it one time. Then that 5 million now that we need to, where is the 5 million is not even there? How do I break down that process such that the thought of investing doesn't overwhelm me, especially because it's not something I'm used to doing?
All right. So talking about investments must not be very, very big. Because the misconception is that people think that to invest you need like a lot of money. But I'm sure you said you talk more to us about that. But there are so many investments that you can do that require maybe like 10,000 francs from you on a monthly basis, and there's going to be like a return on invest. So just to say that investments don't always require that you have so much money. You must not start investment for millions. Those that invest in millions now started somewhere, or they probably had those millions to be able to invest them. But if you don't have the millions now, it does not mean that you cannot start investing. You can invest what you have. I mean, I think that's the easiest way I can put it. I'm sure you will tell us more about how we can do those investments, or the different platforms that are available for us to be able to do the investments that we can.
I mean, and I think it's actually a very sometimes easy process. And just like you've said about planning in general, we're just so overwhelmed by those big numbers, right? And you could literally just shrink it down. So there are different leagues to it. If you want to play football, you start playing at the top cup, or in the quartiers where we play under the rain and we run naked. And that's fine for us. You don't have boots, you can go. Then for top cup level, at least you need a jersey. You need to look a little bit of thing, because maybe you'd feature somewhere. You need a little bit of training. You need a coach. But then you grow. You get to MTN Elite 1 level. And then CRTV is broadcasting you, and you're a local champion. And then one day you're playing in the Premier Leagues and all. So it's a process that starts gradually. And you just need to figure out what stage in the race you are in. Because the whole concept about people being born with a silver spoon, I have never appreciated it. We all have our course to run, and the person who starts maybe a few meters ahead doesn't really mean they're ahead. They have a completely different course. And since we are quoting scripture, Bible says the race is not for the swift. So sometimes it's not about how fast you invest in the business or how fast your investments grow, is that you can stay steady and consistent. And one thing, we were chatting with one of the guests I had on the show, there was a time when these ideas came: invest, invest, invest. And people were thinking, oh, I want to buy a taxi. And then it turns out that all taxi people in Yaoundé were scammers. My mom literally told me, if you want to die young, buy a taxi. But then people are there. Then taxis were a little too expensive. So we decided that, okay, try Okada. Okada people even steal the Okada plus your house and just go with. But still, someone is there. So you would never really master the investment market, but at least do some level of due diligence. And this is where I want to ask you the next question. How do you do due diligence for planning? Because if I'm planning a wedding And it's true, I may not be able to forecast the weather, but at the very least, I should be able to go on Google and check weather maps to see if it goes. I mean, I have said that I leave to roast bands. Bands lost millions on a project because the guy did not have the foresight to go on his phone and check weather updates. Is it going to rain in Yaoundé tomorrow? This is true story, I'm telling you. I'll tell you people the story. Team knows. Bands. So, bottom line, how are you planning for the contingency? What can you do when you're planning such that you can caution the effects of the unforeseen should they happen? Because you said, I mean, yeah, planning, times are in God's hands and all of that, but is there anything that we can do that helps us so when we fall or things don't go according to plan, we don't shrink completely?
Okay. So when it comes to probably things that you cannot foresee, when planning, what you can do is, okay, so having in mind that obviously this is how I want it to be, but these are the things that can make it not go as planned. So first of all, even identifying the things, because this is your plan, this is what you want to do. The first things, okay, identify what are the things that can cause this thing not to go the way I really want it to go. That's where you start from. And then now you do kind of like, okay, in case these things happen or one of these things happen, this is how I should act or this is what I should do. So depending on the particular aspect that you're talking about or depending on the particular situation that you find yourself in case it goes this way instead, what are the things that I can do to at least handle the situation? So maybe if you can give like a practical example, or let's say you were talking about the wedding, or like you cannot really forecast the weather, but you just put in your mind that, okay, in case it happens to rain, what is a backup that we can do so that it's not going to be a complete fiasco? So you can put plans like, okay, get numbers for maybe people that have bus drivers that transport people, so that, okay, you just tell them that in case it's going to rain, I'm going to call you at this time so you can transport people from church to the hall. I mean, so you just have that little backup plan because you have already foreseen that this may be the problem. And so you just put in place, okay, if it happens this way, then I can do this. If not, we just continue with the initial plan that we already had.
Thank you very much, Karen. I think that sets some really great precedent for conversation. By the way, Gold Digger is still on sale. We have lots of copies. We would prefer that you get your copy online, but if you want, even analog, we they still sell them. It's golddiggerbyk.com.
Yeah.
See, even the website I know. Oh, guys, you do want to get that, and I think it would do a lot of good. So, Miss K, the last word to you.
What do I have to say again? Anyways, I just want to say thank you guys for even being present, and I just pray that at least one thing that you have gotten from the conversation is going to serve you and is going to help you. And if I have to tell you, give you one there's a lot to take home, but if I have to just give you one thing to take home again, I'll say it's good to plan, but most importantly, it's good to review every end of the week, just to help you to keep track of what you're doing. Always do a weekly review before going to the next week, such that based on what happened in week 1, you can be able to do adjustments and do better in the next week. And if you do that over or throughout the year, you realize that you are becoming better and better every day. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Miss K, thank you very much for accepting to be the guest on our first open podcast. All of them have been in-house recordings, so thank you very much.
Thank you
you've
too.
given some really valuable insights.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching and listening to Show Me the Money. If today's conversation sparked something in you, share it, rate the show, and join the community of builders rewriting Africa's business story. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action, and your next move could change everything. I'm Richard Atem, and I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, stay hungry, stay building.